in the second for 2100 for my first Walt.
Oh, you have multiple Walt. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is Will, and so today is my first interview, so I'm nervous and excited at the same time. We have a very special guest. He is a VeVe OG. He is somebody who is very respected within the VeVe community. I've learned a lot from him. So today we talk about his VeVe journey, his secret rare mint of Marvel comic book #1 and Spider-Man, how he was able to get two very special mint of R2-D2, his MCP strategy, mistakes, plan for the future, and so much more. So welcome to the show, Elite, and thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Will.
So for those who don't know about you, how would you describe yourself, and how did your VeVe journey begin?
How would I describe myself? I describe myself like an open canvas, like an open book. The journey, we don't know what we're gonna experience in life, so I just keep it blank, keep it open. Look for seek and find new opportunities. So just a blank canvas. Just I write the journey as we go. So.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So how did you hear about VeVe, and when did you get started?
I got started in March of last year, March 19th to be exact. To be exact of where I found VeVe. I don't exactly know specifically, but it's got to be somewhere online, either Twitter, on somewhere online. I started off with Top Shot in February.
Oh.
So I was already in Top Shot, and then the NFTs, and then doing research, you stumble across. So I think that's where I found VeVe was online, but no friends or no family introduced me or nothing like that.
I also have the same journey. I actually started looking at NFT because people were talking about it. I got into Top Shot because this is like a very new field, and NBA has a reputation, so I started Top Shot, and then slowly discover more projects, and VeVe was one of them, simply because I saw DC and all these big brands. So I got into VeVe. I had nobody to share the experience with, so exactly the same journey, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about something interesting. You were able to get both the Secret Rare Spider-Man and Marvel comic book #1, also Secret Rare, for like $1,000. How did that happen?
Well, for the Secret Rare Spider-Man, I got lucky to pull on the drop.
Oh wow!
400 gems.
Yep.
So surprisingly and thankfully, I was blessed to actually land it on the drop. So ever since then, I've never sold it, sold it, even if there was tempting profits to consider. So, and for the Secret Rare Marvel comic #1, if you remember during the comic period when they first launched, the marketplace was all out of whack. I was a bit frustrated due to the unorganized comics. They were all just in the same place from all the rarities. So to find the floor for any of those items, you would have to like really scroll, and really look. And it takes time. And I was getting like, okay, I'll just wait till they clean this up and fix it. But then there was an offer that came onto the table. Someone from our group, that I know, he was willing to sell, and I negotiated with him, and then we closed the deal at 600.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild. So now, like, both of those combine almost 100 grand now.
Yes. That's those two I'm holding for a while.
Yeah.
Unless there's a big offer on the table that I'm willing to that will get me off of those positions.
Yeah. So for somebody who's new to VeVe, like trusting somebody on the internet and, Venmo that person $600 for a comic is, for me, that's pretty wild. At least way back in the past, I have never gotten anything off market. How were you able to do that? Like how did that person build a trust for you? Tell me more about that transaction.
So prior to the deal, I've done a deal with him before, so like say on Discord, you tend to learn you meet people, you communicate with people with a chat, so there are certain people that I've chatted with throughout, and learned a bit about them and stuff like that, and you get comfortable with people. So I was, it was a $600 deal. It wasn't like a $20,000 deal where you need to be more protected, more safe before doing a deal like that. So with this, and he was also trusting into me as well, so he was willing to do the deal. So as long as both we can come into a mutual agreement, at the end of the day, someone's gonna have to send first, right? If it's just, unless you get some trustworthy escrow, but we still want. So luckily my trust was built with him, so he ends up, he sends first. He sent me the comic first, and then I send the money. So as long as you can find people like that you can depend on, there's still great people out there, don't get me wrong. You can't really think everyone out there is gonna scam somebody. So you just gotta, that's where you build your relationship with each person that you communicate with.
Yeah. So back then, I remember when the Marvel comic book #1 came out, people were selling for like $2-3. People were selling for a loss because, and then I didn't value comics that much back then. I still don't know much about comics now, to be honest. So like spending that amount of money back then, because it was a totally different story, and then you've been holding it since forever until now, shows a lot of conviction. So how were you able to, do your research? How did you realize the potential of that comic book so early on when other people were just selling for a loss?
And I'm also one of those people that is brand new to the comics, and especially it was brand new to the VeVe app. So I was selling my commons that I pulled on the drop for 5 gems, 7 gems. So I did. I was one of those few that sold early on of my commons, at least at the commons. So I let those go, and I did my research as well after, and I saw that YouTube with the auction that that comic, the Marvel comic 1, sold for 1.6 million.
Oh, okay.
In that auction. So right there and then, that YouTube alone really opened my eyes with that comic. So that was that auction YouTube that I watched was the one that really set me to come to conviction of that comic. Is like, oh my gosh, this is a big comic. So I had to go for that secret rare.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah. And then you were lucky enough to get the Secret Rare Spider-Man on the drop. So that's awesome. You got the 2 grails. Something else is the 2 special mint of your 2 R2D2s. How did that happen? And what are your thoughts on the future of VeVe with this mint? Like, some people like Silicon Secure and other folks really value the mint numbers. So walk me through your thought process in getting the 2 R2D2s, and what do you think about the importance of mint number going forward?
Yes, for R2D2, when the first Golden Moments, when the news of Golden Moments came out, and then they showed everything that's going to be dropping. Once I saw Star Wars, I was already like, oh, this one's going to be big. So right away, I already knew it's going to be big regardless, of the situation, just for its, if it's, you know, since it's Star Wars first NFTs in history. So, and the brand alone, you know, Star Wars is massive out there in the real world. So, you know, I knew right away I have to get, you know, I have to get one of these. At least R2D2 was actually is on my top second under Walt. So when the news hit that Walt was gonna release, I already knew he's number one. And then I put R2D2, boom, right on the second level, right under him as my picks. And this was during the time of the news of Golden Moments. This is not currently right now. I already had that idea back in the day when they first launched. So I knew it was going to be big. My strategy for the Golden Moments was to focus strictly on Walt. So I was, you know, selling some items off to have enough gems. Well, who knows how many gems was going to be Walt. It could be 5,000, 10,000. So who knew? I only had 4,000 gems saved up. Yeah. So that, you know, and with the mint size, with Walt, I thought it's gonna be around 2K, around 2K range, right after the drop. So luckily, that was around where he started at after he sold out, and luckily I was able to catch a Walt.
You got a Walt?
Not on the drop, but I bought him in the second for 2,100 for my first Walt.
Oh, you have multiple Walt.
I have 2 Walts as well.
Damn, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. So I pre-planned my strategy for the Golden Moments. I did end up buying the Bart at like 200 something gems because he was the very first drop. So I was like, okay, let me just get a Bart because I love Homer Simpson and Bart. So I grabbed them around 200 something and I kept them, you know. But my still main focus was Walt. And my strategy was, do not spend these gems until I secure Walt.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
And going back with your R2D2, I ended up buying him after some time. I got my first mint that I bought was 2, 3, 4, 5, the consecutive sequential, the consecutive mint, at around 875 gems. That was my first R2D2 that I bought. So, and like you say, moving forward with the mints in the future, I ended up doing a deal with one of our buddies from our group, you know, someone that I know, you know, pretty well, you know. So he had the consecutive mint 6, 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
And he got that in the market around the floor level during that time. And I was like, and he mentioned it, and then I was like, my eyes lit up. I was like, oh my God. Because I already have 2, 3, 4, 5. Now he has 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need that. I need that R2D2. So he was nice enough to not price gouge it or, you know, overprice it for me. You know, so I still paid over for what he paid for. So luckily he was able to pocket some profit as well on top of that. You know, so, and he was willing to let it go. And I did secure that 6, 7, 8, 9. So I do have 2 R2D2s, which is the mints 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9. So 8 consecutive numbers that I've never seen before. Actually, I've never seen that out there in the market, and especially of that high caliber of a brand and of a holy grail type piece. So that's a first for me since March to see something like that.
That is crazy, because I am from Vietnam originally, and if you do business in Vietnam, people really care about the numbers. You know, it means luck, like the 8, number 6, number 8, that progressing numbers like 6, 7, 8, 9. Like if your phone number ends with AAA or like 6789, that means you are something. So that is just really awesome, man. Wow.
Thank you. That was
Yeah.
yeah. Those ones are gonna be keepers for me unless a strong offer comes on the table, of course, you know.
Yeah. How much would you be willing to let it go? This is like just a fun question.
See, the thing is I have to also consider the floor prices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the floor price, because I see a lot of low mints out there, you know, say the low price is just like $500, but a lot of low mints are going for 20,000, 30,000. So there's a big gap between floor and a low mint, you know. So, you know, many times they're overpriced, or they're just, it's very hard to value a low mint.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't know the exact value. We don't know, you know, how I see it is, you know, what you're considering, also with the floors as well. But like I mentioned, the floors in the low mint floors, a lot of them are either they're price gouged. Like if you look at, I love Todd so much,
Mm-hmm.
but if you look at the 100 and under mints, they're in the millions.
Yeah, they're impossible to get.
The minimum is $1 million. So, and then you look at the floor around the 10K range for Todd, you know, like, it's just like, is that realistic
Mm-hmm.
for the current floor?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that the years down the road when Todd is 100K, 500K?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's more realistic when Todd is 100K, you know, a $250,000, than to have the under 100 mint at $1 million plus. Yeah, definitely. That's just
Mm-hmm.
a 5 to 10x. But as the current price right now with Todd to the 1 million plus, you know, that's a big X on top of, you know. So
Yeah.
so with my R2D2s, realistically, I wouldn't mind taking, you know, 50 to 100K for mine right now, being realistic.
Yeah, I think that is a pretty
You know,
acceptable range, especially, you know, first a Star Wars NFT. It's basically impossible to get that kind of mint number for two of them consecutively. So that's wild. So for somebody who is new to VeVe, obviously you have been very successful within the VeVe community. You did a really good job with Disney Golden Moment. How would you advise somebody who's new to VeVe to plan out their strategy and to have the best VeVe experience? For example, if your best friend were to join VeVe today, what would you advise him or her to, you know, do the research, you know, what to buy, what to sell, what to hodl? Yeah, if you would create a guide to VeVe, how would you do it?
tough question, because that's a lot of complications and many factors
Mm-hmm.
involved. But as a beginner or a starter, you know, each individual has their budget, their investment capital that they're willing to spend into the app. You know, say for example, you're brand new, you don't have that much investment right now to put in big money, like many whales, you know, say like $1,000, for example. You know, I don't know if that's fair or not, but right now $1,000 in VeVe is not much anymore,
Right.
considering the appreciation of many of these pieces, that they've grown in value so high. So, you know, with 1,000 gems, for example, I would target the known brands, the big name characters. You know, you may not be able to get the SR Spider-Man, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
But you still want to get very popular characters, big brands, Disney, Marvel, you know, whether it's Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Well, you can't even afford those for Superman with 1,000. But say there's some Batman, there's some under 1,000 gems. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a tough question, you know, because a lot of items have gone up in value where, you know, it's a very tough question because I'd like to say go with, at the same time, you want to also get what you like, you know, because people will also get what they like, and they're not really considering a strategy of like they want to grow so much money, grow so much in profit. It may just be like they are coming into that to buy what they like. They may like unicornos or
Yeah.
you know, something nice looking, but not really looking at the money, the profits. So there's those like people that, oh, this looks nice, I'm gonna buy this just because I like it, versus that the guy that wants to come in for big money profits. You know, you got to be really strategic in what you actually buy that really has that potential with those significant factors, the popularity, the low supply of mints. You know, those are three of my big factors on what I look at in a big piece for the big money piece. Like SR Spider-Man, for example, animated, he pretty much check marks all those bases. He hits off the low supply of mints. It's only 1,000 mints. He hits off the popularity, demand, very high demand in Spider-Man. So he's also the #1 superhero in the world, most popularity, and also significant factor, which is the very first Marvel NFT in history and the very first Spider-Man as a character NFT in history. And as well, we can clear this up that he's also first on the blockchain for Marvel and Spider-Man. So that first on the blockchain is definitely another really, really huge factor for those people very critical with the blockchain.
I think that for me, there are two kinds of collectibles: the ones I like and the ones that I force myself to like based on my research. So usually the ones I like the ones that, like, from Decon, oh, that looks cool, blah blah blah. And then the ones that I don't like, I don't care too much at first, but I do the research and I like it based on my research. Those are the ones that usually do well. For example, I got my Todd Batman back in August, and at first I didn't care too much about Todd, but then I started watching videos because, you know, I heard people say, oh, he's the first ever VeVe collectible. So I did my research. I watched a few videos on Todd McFarlane, on Batman as well, and I bought him for like $400 or something. So that was the one that I didn't like at first, but I forced myself to like, and then I went with my conviction. So those are the ones that usually do better than the ones I like. Yeah. So that's just my perspective on it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Not everyone's gonna like the Holy Grails. Not everyone likes Superman. Not everyone likes Batman. Not everyone likes Spider-Man. But many people get lured into liking them because they are the Holy Grails, because they are those big money pieces. You know, so you got to consider: are you going for the generational wealth to make big money in the future, or I'm just gonna go with what I like, you know, but they're not really significant. They're nowhere near a Holy Grail. They look nice, you know, but they're not gonna be as big in value as, say, the Holy Grails, like a Walt, you know. So
Yeah.
So me, my strategy and my goal is the generational wealth. So my main strategy, as I experienced the VeVe throughout since March, I'm putting in my Grail strategy, my Holy Grail strategy. I don't have every single Grail. I used to have Todd and Superman. Unfortunately, I don't have them anymore. I switched it up. I sold one of my Todds to get Walt when he dropped. So
what a deal.
So during that time, Todd was around 1.5 to 2K. I sold around like 1.6 area. And Walt, like I said, he came around 2K around after the drop. So I just needed 500 more gems. and then I ended up securing Walt at 2100. It did take Todd to be sacrificed, but you know, it was well worth it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I know that you also have a really cool MCP strategy with the comics that I know a lot of people will be interested to know more about. So let's talk about that.
So since my main strategy was the Grail strategy, I didn't consider the MCP points right away. I didn't jump on and started to pile up on all these items just randomly, you know, just completing sets due to the MCP news that came out. My goal was still get the big pieces, you know, still the Grail pieces. That's gonna build my generational wealth in the future. That I believe in, that these pieces that have potential to. They're not there yet, but now, as looking at the pieces that I have now, wow, they definitely have grown into value that have potential to get to those, you know, unbelievable values that we didn't consider back in the day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So with the MCP strategy, I've been targeting the rare comics, the lowest and affordable priced rare comics. The reason being is because each rare comic has 2 points, 2.0 points. So the uncommon is 0.5 points, and the common is 0.25. So the rare is already, you know, it's significantly higher points than the common and the uncommon. And for, you know, the affordable my range was 50 to 75 gems for the rare comics. So I was just looking through all the comics, finding some very affordable rares. And another thing with the rares, the supply is very low. They're within like 2,000 to 3,000 mints for the rares. For majority of the rares, not considering ASM 252, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, if you can find, if you can get as many MCP points as possible for the lowest cost out of pocket, I think that would be, that's my strategy, versus spending so much money just to rack up points. If your mind is MCP, you don't want to be spending so much money when you can get a lot of more points for less. That's just me, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how that's my new strategy, is the rare comics.
Yeah. So I think that is a great strategy because, you know, it has a scarcity of a rare item, like you said, 200 to 300 mints. The rare is something that is like, the rare mints are usually disrespected because, you know, people always go for the commons or the secret rare, right? And, you know, with 50 to 70 gems, you can't even get most rare collectibles to get that point. So I think that is an excellent strategy that I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from. So this is a question that I've been thinking. With $700, let's just say that right now the price of OMI is 0.007, which is like around that range. With $700, would you recommend like your best friend or your family member to go buy 100,000 OMI? Or would you recommend him or her to go buy a collectible on the marketplace for a beginner with that budget? What would you do?
I'd go with the VeVe Collectibles.
Okay.
Due to the fact that $700 in crypto stocks is not much when it comes to investing. You need to really come in pretty big to really have a big position that can really make a big impact. But for OMI at that price, definitely there's so much more room to grow. So $700 can definitely incrementally grow as time goes. So, you know, I definitely see VeVe, OMI, Ecomi easy 10x, you know, in the coming future. So yeah, so a $700 investment is still good for OMI. But you know, if you're looking for bigger, you know, bigger money or profit, I think the collectibles would be able to get you that in the shorter term, at least in the shorter term. For me, OMI is a longer term, is a longer term, because there's still many factors with OMI. There's a lot of supply, a very high supply, you know, versus VeVe Collectibles. There's a lot of very scarce supply. So if you think of each collectible as like a stock or crypto coin, they have their own supply of tokens or shares, for example. So like I mentioned, the Secret Rare Spider-Man, there's only 1,000 shares or 1,000 coins out there, if those were, if that was considered its own stock or crypto. So we need to consider 1,000 pieces only. So as time goes, you know, as the supply gets less, you know, premium also, and the demand is still high at the same time with Spider-Man, premiums will just, you know, continue to climb. In that's just how I see it, you know. So,
and with 700, you can probably get a common Spider-Man now. So the reason why I asked that question is, you know, during a gold rush, you can be the guy who go find the gold, or you can be the guy who sells the tent and the shovels, right? So, you know, I always kind of struggle with that question in the beginning. I really believe in the success of VeVe, you know, with the user base and all that, and all the licenses. But at the same time, it's been getting much harder to get drops. So, you know, like, okay, I believe in the company, but at the same time, it's hard to participate this way. I may as well participate the other way. And with the OMI token, I do believe, and this is not financial advice, obviously, but I do believe it will have a very bright future. It's gonna 5x, 10x easily. Not all collectibles will have that level of success if you buy on the marketplace. That's what I think about it. If you buy it on drop, yes, sure, like 10x, 20x. But maybe like if you were to buy a common Spider-Man now for like 650 on the marketplace, you know, I'm not sure it will be like, it will have that potential to 10x or 20x like the OMI token.
You got a great point. You know, the secondary market is definitely, you know, when I first started VeVe, my goal was only to get on the drops, so I can just pay a very low cost out of pocket,
right?
Because I know how secondary market, the price just inflates right away, you know. So I didn't want to have to be buying everything in the secondary market, and my wallet just drains with a few items, you know. So when I first started, I was strictly just going for the drops, you know. I wouldn't even, I mean, the market wasn't open during that time, but even then, you know, there's listings out there that was even well above the retail, on the drop price. So, but now, yeah, you have a great point where the returns may not be as exponential when you get it on the drop, you know, versus trying to buy it right now in the secondary market. But I still believe there's a lot of meat on the bone. I think there's still a lot of room to grow as more users come into the app. You know, when there's 10 million users, you know, people want these first pieces. They're gonna want, you know, the sought after pieces. The popular, what's the most popular piece out there, which is the great characters. You know, they're gonna look at these values and be like, wow, Walt is over 40K. What, you know, how, you know, that's gonna open up their interest.
Right.
So regardless of where we're at right now, yes, Walt and Todd and Spider-Man, you know, they're up there in value, but I still believe there's still exponential growth for them. You know, yeah, it may sound crazy, but you know, at 40K Walt, I still believe there's so much more room for him to grow. So, you know, at the end of the day, things that I would recommend for people is you want to get in as early as possible, as fast as possible, before everyone realizes, oh, this piece is a hot piece. You know, SR Spider-Man back then for a while was within 2K gems for a long time, sitting there until people realized this, like, oh, you know, Secret Rare Spider-Man, wow, you know. And then now once people realize, now the prices start to go up because people start to buy. So, you know, you want to get in as early as possible. You know, you want to get not just jump in, you know, right away. You also want to be comfortable with your entry point as well. You know, say for example, when the drop sells out, the marketplace is very, very active.
Yes.
You know, it's extremely volatile, right? The market, it's a bit dangerous to be trying to play in that marketplace right after the drop. You know, but at the same time, you may be able to find a great open of opportunity to get in too, for those people that are quickly selling, you know, right away. They may undercut for a great price, and you're comfortable with that entry. So, you know, you want to try to catch those people that sell it fairly low and within your comfortability of entry point, you know. And then there's a lot of times where we see it go so high so fast where we get outpriced right away, you know. So during those times, and it all depends on what the piece is, because with Walt, I was like, I don't care what the price is, I need to get it regardless, you know?
Yeah.
And luckily he was within my budget of the 2K range. So it hit my range. That was my trigger to buy. So I bought it. Regardless if it goes down or not, that was still my comfortable price to buy. And I knew Walt was a must.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I needed to do, I'm gonna buy him regardless. So
that's a valid point. Yeah. I wish that I did a better job at planning out for like Disney Golden Moments. But hopefully I'll be a lot wiser as I learn more from you guys and make better decisions. So I have 2 more questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. So what I really admire about you, besides being a great collector with lots of conviction, is that you're able to organize, create, maintain, and nurture a very positive, educational, and active Discord group, the VeVe Army. I would say that I learned a tremendous amount from that group. It's very positive. I've never seen such a great community like that before. Did you have any experience organizing a community and keeping it that good? And how were you able to do that?
I had no experience in creating a group like that. So when I first started that group was in May. The reason why I started was I was able to build like a track record throughout the VeVe community. You know, I did a lot of deals. You know, I was working with whales, and we would have to communicate with so many people, right, every single day. And then, you know, as I was doing these deals, closing these deals, you know, I felt like, hey, I feel like I built a little track record going on. And then I felt like, hey, why not create the VeVe Army? No one had it. No one had the name. There was other VeVe Discords out there, you know, so I was able, fortunately, to bring on the VeVe Army Discord. In the very beginning, of course, we started very small. Like, you know, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We started off, I mean, we're still very small. But how I look at things is a quality over quantity. You know, a lot of groups, they want to just pile in as many people, have everyone just join with no protection. You know, everyone just flooding in the gates. You know, as I built this, as time gone by, and as we're communicating within the group, people are joining. You know, the communication factor was a big thing, and people were enjoying the group. You know, the communication was very active. We started to build activity into the group, in the group chat. So and learning these people. Like I said, you want to learn each individual that you chat with in these Discord groups, or any chat group that you get into. You want to learn these people, so you build a relationship with each individual. I'm hoping I've was able to help others in a way to benefit you guys in a way. And I love everyone in the VeVe Army. I appreciate everyone so much. It's every morning when I wake up, I'm already right on the Discord. That's
I
the
can
first
see
thing
that.
I go to. Right, you see me saying good morning.
Yeah.
So definitely, and it's great to see that there's already activity when I wake up. Like there's already chat going on. So, and at the same time, since our group is so small, it's not going to be 24/7 very active. People got to sleep, So,
yeah.
So we do have like a time where it slows down, that the activity of the chat slows. Like, I'm in the West Coast, California, Southern California. So, my midnight over here, that's pretty much, it slows down, and it's 3 a.m. in the East Coast, so during that time, it gets slow during that time for the chat. But during the day when we're awake, like right now,
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys have saved me from making terrible decisions, because so many times I thought about paper handings. And now in hindsight, thinking back, it's paper handing. But I thought about selling this and selling that, and you guys told me, hey, Will, no, those are grails, don't be an idiot. So and now thinking back, I'm so glad that I listened to you guys. And you mentioned the time zone. I think it's so funny when somebody say, like, I see somebody tag you, and I know it's like 5 a.m. in California, and somebody tag you in on Discord. I'm like, yo, let him sleep, man. At least he's sleeping right now. He's talking, it's 5 in the morning, and then I saw you replying like an hour later. So I thought it was it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Lots of dedication right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be able to right away, right if I get tagged right away, here I am, like
Yeah.
no, it's people still have their lives to do, but I am there as much as I can. I'm there to do what I can to protect the group as best as possible. I want the community to be safe, to feel safe, that they're in a safe environment. I don't, there's other places where you go in there, you're just with your guard up. It's unsafe already, and you already know, or just coming into there, you already know it's an unsafe environment. So with the VeVe Army, with our small exclusive group, it's so easy to see what's going on.
Yeah.
We're such a small group that I'm pretty much easy to watch everyone's moves, stuff like that, and to see people coming in and to see their behavior and their activity, stuff like that. So, I'm always watching as well, but I'm not gonna be that, that policeman. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, don't do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm very relaxed and chill, and very I like to say I'm cool with everyone in the group, but of course, if there's important things that come up that is unusual, of course I need to step in and do something about it, because if it's gonna affect the group and their protection, of course I immediately, as fast as I can, I will stop it, take action about it, Also, you want to figure out what's going on first.
Yeah.
You can't just, because someone said this, you want to also talk to that individual as well, what's going on.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, I think you are a great community organizer, and I'm very grateful, to be a part of that group. So last question before we end this conversation. If you were to go back to March 2021, what would be the 3 advice you would give yourself about VeVe?
3 advice that I would give myself back if I were to go back into March
and get started again. Yes.
and to start again and to start again. Research more deep into the products, deep into the company. Be very assertive of what's going on in the community. I mean, although in March it was so new that there was only a small handful of people, that I think it was within like under 20,000 people in the app during that time. So I didn't really know what to think. I didn't know what to expect coming in. But going in is oh man, I wish I would do more research and know more about what these items are, and see, at this point in time, I'm more of looking into the grail status, right? On the key factors. What is a key factor of these grails? Back then we had Todd, Rizzo, which they were actually grails already to begin with, but I didn't know those factors. I didn't know how to consider Todd and Rizzo and you know, Donnie to be a grail back then. I was just looking at them as a product, you know. I didn't see it as, oh, this is important due to the scarcity, the popularity, the, you know, the significance. I didn't know that stuff back in March, you know. So I guess throughout this journey, you know, if I knew that back then, my 3 advice is, if you're starting now, at least you have those factors to actually consider now. You can think of those significant grail factors. So the 3 advice is pretty much do your research, have your strict budget that you have of what you're gonna go for, and also, you know, if you're looking for the generation wealth, you want to go for the popular significant characters. But at the same time, you may not like those. I understand. They may not like that piece. Like, oh, I don't like that piece, so I'm not going to get it. And so they miss out on the grails. They miss out on Walt. Say they don't like Walt, for example, and they miss out on him because, oh, I don't like Walt, you know, I'm not going to get him because whatever the reason is. But okay, fine. You're going to miss out on the exponential growth due to Walt's significance and grail status. So I can't help, that's just their own personal situation there, you know? Yeah. So at the end of the day, you wanna just put that aside, and you wanna also be able to be a part of those grails, because those will be the most successful in the long term. And at the same time, when there's gem squeezes like we're seeing, the holy grails, this is very important, the holy grails will be able to withstand these storms that are coming in hard, you know. Yeah. You know, if you look at Walt right now, he's still over 40K. Yeah. I haven't looked recently, but I haven't looked today yet, but yeah, he's been around in the 40K still, even during this new gem squeeze. He barely budged, you know. So that is another, you want to also look at other pieces in the marketplace that are able to hold strong or even increase, as we're seeing in R2D2 right now. Right. R2D2 is in the 9,000s. Did he budge? No, he's still going, he's still climbing. And this is during a gem squeeze. So you want to look at all these pieces that are able to withstand the gem squeeze, and look at pieces that are actually big hits, that are dropping very low, which to me are considered more of the weaker links. But of course, eventually they'll recover in due time, you know. But you know, the grail status, they're gonna be able to battle strong and hold strong. And then the lower end tiers, they'll take, you know, 20%, 30% hits. Right. And it hurts people's portfolio if they're in a lot of those, versus if you had a lot of grails as your foundation, you will be able to to withstand, and in the test of time as well, longer term, if you're looking longer term, these grails are gonna be, is the way to go. That's why that's where I'm at with the grails.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. Yeah, so my thought is, you know, for new users, when for the past few weeks, I've been keeping track of different pieces to see how well they hold up during dips. So it's been very helpful because now I do realize that there are certain pieces that will do really well long term, regardless of what happens to the market. So it's been, I totally agree with you.
thank you. And if I may do a quick shout out to the VeVe Army.
Yes, please do it. Yeah.
So everyone in the VeVe Army, you know who you all are. You know, all the VeVe Army queens, the VeVe Army leaders, and everyone else who's even new. Hopefully we can, as a group, learn from one another and continue to grow, you know, and just keep building ourselves up as we have been. So, and I thank everyone that I'm also learning from everyone too, each and every person. So it's a great experience, and let's, for all the great success for everyone in VeVe and OMI. So let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, man. I will. Yeah. You know, like since joining the army, I've been much smarter in making decisions. So again, I really appreciate you creating that awesome community for new users like myself to learn. Yeah, so it's been awesome. Elite, it's been a great conversation. This is my first interview, and it's been amazing. I'm so happy right now that I've been learning a lot about you, about your VeVe journey, and I'm sure the audience have learned a lot from you as well. So once again, thank you very much. And you know, I hope we can do another one in the future.
Thank you, Will. Hey,
Yeah.
appreciate everything. And this is also a first for me as well. So you're the first person to interview me.
I have
well.
I have the FA tag.
Yeah. You got the FA tag.
All right, good. That is it, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any comments or feedbacks or questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. And if you have enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate you spending the time, and I hope to see you again. All right, thank you. Peace.